Howdy folks, Greyhawk 4x4 coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer, and it is another important day in gaming as E3 draws closer. They're starting to do more and more of these reveal videos and interviews with the developers leading up to it and so forth. And this morning was Jedi Fallen Order, the next installment in the Jedi Knight series franchise. Now, you guys probably saw my Baldur's Gate video. That this franchise is in the same league as, for me, as the Baldur's Gate franchise. I played every single one in the series, and I loved them all. Of course, I'm a big Star Wars fan, so, you know, anytime I get to live in the Star Wars universe is a good thing for me. So, I'm, of course, looking forward to this next one that comes out in November. It's supposed to come around the same time as the next movie. So, as the final movie in the Skywalker franchise. So, I thought I would, before I get into my reaction about the actual Jedi Fallen Order gameplay footage, I thought I will quickly go over the history of the franchise, starting with, it all started with Dark Forces. And it was, the very first one was very similar to Doom, if you had ever played the old groundbreaking game Doom. It was that first, you know, one of those first-person shooters. I mean, there was others before it, but Doom was the one that really grabbed everybody. And Dark Forces, if I remember correctly, used the same engine. It was just basically Doom with lightsabers and stormtroopers and the Force and the whole bit, and it was fantastic. And of course, it launched the whole franchise. So then you had Jedi Knight, which was Dark Forces 2, which was, I believe, it was Game of the Year when it came out. It was fantastic as well. Then you had the third one, which was Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, well, Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast. The titles do get very confusing. Because this one, let's see here. Because, I'll give you an example. So this one is called Jedi Knight, but it's Dark Forces 2. Then you went to this one, which was Jedi Knight 2. And it was Jedi Outcast. But if you go by the precedent that they set with this one, where they called this one Dark Forces 2, this one should have been Dark Forces 3. But they kind of, you know, conflated all the titles there and everything. It made it very confusing. And then you had Jedi Knight Academy. Or Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. So that was the whole series up until now. And now you have Fallen Order coming out in November. Now, I did want to show that third one. They had a collector's edition. And of course, you know me as the collector's edition moron. It came in this tin. And you basically got that one plus the two previous ones, all three in the collector's edition. But the other thing that you got was, you got this cool lightsaber keychain. Oh, it's upside down. And it actually turns on. So, you can find these on eBay with all the other guts and stuff in them. But I haven't seen one that actually has this as well. And this has sat on my desk for about 15 years since this came out. Right about 15 years. And I always have kept it there because gaming in the dark, sometimes there's a slip of paper you got a note written on or something like that. And it was always easy to just grab this and turn it on, and it would give me just enough light to see what I needed to read. So I've always just kept it Plus, it looks cool on my desk. You know, I got a little thing to hold it upright and everything, so that's pretty cool. So now, let's talk about what I saw in the gameplay footage for Fallen Order. My initial reaction was that it looked like an Uncharted title from the Uncharted series with lightsabers, and that's not a bad thing. That's not a dig or anything like that, because it looked like it had all the mechanics, the platform that they showed. The console version, it was the Xbox version that they showed, and it had all those same, you know, platformer agility challenges that you would have to do in an Uncharted title. However, of course, you've got all the Star Wars skins and the lightsabers and the Force and all that. And again, that's not a bad thing. It's just that was how I saw it. And all of these previous ones were first-person shooters, basically. And this was in third person. The video, I don't know if they're going to allow you to go to first person. I don't know if you'd want to go to first person. But I did see a lot of mechanics, the Force mechanics, that I really liked. I liked the imagination that they used in the different ways you could use the Force from what we could see in the gameplay footage. And it's alpha footage, so of course that's early. So that means that, you know, things can change and everything. And I'm going to practice what I preach. If you saw my PIIG, Perpetual Instigation in Gaming, if you saw that video I made, you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to practice what I preach. I'm not going to jump to conclusions and say, oh my God, it's going to suck. It's going to be the worst thing ever. It's, you know, oh, you know, the sky is falling. You know, no, I'm not going to do any of that. It's alpha footage. Some of the things about the combat, if they were to stay the same, would concern me a little bit. But again, it's alpha footage, so I'm going to assume that they're going to smooth all that out, and everything is going to be peachy keen. And then we will wait to see when the game releases. Then we will judge it. No sense in exacerbating anything or whatever. So, having said all that, I found myself being entertained watching this gameplay footage. I felt myself being drawn into watching it and finding out what happened and seeing what Force powers he could use and so forth. So, yes, I am excited. If it was not coming out on PC, I would be pissed. But it is. I looked it up, and it will be coming out. It's multi-platform, and it's coming out on PC. So I will be interested to see the mechanics with keyboard and mouse as opposed to a controller, because I do not like using a controller on my PC games. I prefer to use mouse and keyboard. The Arkham games, the Batman Arkham games, were PC ports, and they were, initially, controller centric. However, you could do the same. They made it so you could easily do everything with mouse and keyboard. As long as that's the case, I'm a happy camper. So, but it's too early to speculate, so we'll just have to wait and see. So, to sum up, after seeing the gameplay footage, yes, I'm excited. I've got Baldur's Gate 3 coming out, and I've got another Jedi Knight game coming out. So, two of my favorite franchises of all times. Now, I do have, and I will put a link in the description below, I do have a video that I did way back when, as you can see, these all had the LucasArts logo on them. Okay? So, I do have a video as my, me honoring, I guess the best way to put it, me honoring the LucasArts studios for all the games that they made before Disney did away with LucasArts. So I will put a link below if you guys want to go see that video. It was a very well received video. I got a lot of views on it. And because it was not just Star Wars games that they did. And if you want to see all the details, you can follow the link and go watch that video. In addition, I wanted to talk about the I did recognize two of the actors from the models and the voices in Fallen Order. One was Forrest Whitaker, who was Saw Gerrera on I always forget the name of the damn movie. Anyway, he was Saw Gerrera in that one Star Wars movie about them, stealing the plans to the Death Star. And I can never remember the damn name. I always want to say A New Hope, and it's not A New Hope. But anyway, Rogue One. He was Saw Gerrera in Rogue One. So the timeline for this is after Order 66 has been given, and the Jedi are being hunted and all that, apparently, for this game. And you see Saw Gerrera, and then the protagonist is played by Cameron Monaghan, and he's the guy from Gotham, and he was also in a TV show, Shameless. A lot of you probably know Shameless. So he's in Shameless, and Gotham. He played one of the main antagonists in Gotham. I don't want to give any spoilers away there if you haven't seen the show or you plan to watch it or whatever. So, because the model did look like the actor of the protagonist in this game, and obviously he's doing the voiceover work as well. So that was interesting that they got Forrest Whitaker, and then they've got this other guy who's probably a pretty in-demand actor, I'm guessing, after Gotham and Shameless. I'm guessing he's probably going to be getting a lot of work. So they do have them in there. There was a couple of little things that I noticed that kind of made me happy because of the level of detail. At the very beginning of the gameplay footage, you see some womp rats bouncing along there. A couple times during the gameplay footage, you see that the protagonist, and I think, don't hold me to this, but I believe the protagonist character name is Cal. You see him, he has a little droid that is on him at all times, a small little droid. And he gives him like a shot of something to heal him. So I'm guessing that would be like a Bacta stem, like a Bacta tank, but just in a little stem shot, And then there's a point where he asks his droid, to hack into something, but he uses the correct term. He says slicing, because in the Star Wars universe, that's what they call it. They call it slicing. They don't call it hacking. So I was glad to see that all those little references, all that little attention to detail was there. That made me very happy, actually. So, because some of that goes way back to my Star Wars Galaxies days, to most of slicing and the Womp Rats and the Bactas and all that stuff was all prevalent in the Star Wars Galaxies MMO. So, anyway, to sum up, yes, obviously, I've played all the other ones. I'm excited for the new one. They'll probably come out with another collector's edition for the new one, and I will, of course, have to have it because I'm the collector edition moron. But I'd like to know if you guys watched any of it. I'm sure you can Google, and there's probably any number of videos about showing the gameplay footage now. It was from just this morning. So give me your thoughts. How are you guys feeling about what you saw? And remember, it's alpha footage. Let's not perpetuate that instigation in gaming and go fucking apeshit. Okay? Let's all be patient. And we do know, yes, it is EA that's putting this out, and they do have a reputation, but I don't want to instigate or anything. I just want to say let's be patient. The smart money is we no longer pre-order games. Pre-ordering is what gets people burned now. So the smart money is you wait, you're patient, let the game come out, let the reviews hit, watch some footage on Twitch, whatever you need to do, and make an educated guess, educated decision on whether or not you want to buy the game. But let's not add let's not fuel the fire of all this constant instigation going back and forth. So With that said, guys, we will catch you on the flip side.